This is Jim Williams with the Hurricane City Tropical Update for August 23rd around 11 a.m. Here's a close-up floater loop from NOAA, and Invest 96L is trying to get better organized, but it is still tangling with the mountains of Hispaniola, and the center of circulation looks like it's just north of Hispaniola, approaching Great Inagua Island, and the forecast from the National Hurricane Centers for this to traverse the entire Bahama Island chain and then start to turn to the north off the east coast of Florida. However, there's some model variations and a lot of uncertainty, so everybody especially on the east coast, needs to pay very close attention to developments, because this could eventually ramp up into a hurricane, although most of the models that take it towards Florida do not turn it into a hurricane, but the ones that do take it north turn it into a hurricane. Get to more of that in just a minute. But the mountains of Hispaniola are disrupting the circulation. It's a rather large circulation, and the outflow is still causing a lot of the thunderstorms to blow up to the south. Plus, we have a little bit of an upper level low to the west of this that's causing some dry air on the west side of it, so it's going to take its time getting organized, but it has to move away from Hispaniola first. Here's a water vapor loop of the Atlantic Basin, and you can see the system tangling with Hispaniola, and there are two things to note in this shot, and that is we have a trough approaching. Let's stop the image, and you can see that we have this dip taking place right here, and this is moving to the south. So this is the hook that's supposed to grab this thing and turn it to the north. What you'll also notice on this picture is there is a upper level low just to the west of Invest 96L moving in tandem with it, and that's causing a little bit of southwest wind shear and some dry air to be tangled in with this system. And I think the models that are taking this into South Florida are indicating that that upper level low and that dry air may mix in a little bit along with some southwesterly wind shear to prevent this from ramping up into a hurricane as it moves off to the west, whereas if it moves to the north, it's going to be flowing with the wind shear and would have a better chance for intensification. But that's what the situation is right now. The trough is coming down, so the question is the trough going to take this on out, or is the high pressure ridge on the east coast going to send this in towards Florida and then recurve it eventually? The models are kind of split on this. The European model is the best performer of them all over the last few years anyway, and that just takes it right into the northwest Bahamas here and then starts to turn it north. And the GFS ensembles are all taking it into South Florida along with the GFDL. Now yesterday the GFDL had it off the east coast of Florida turning north. Today the GFDL is going back towards Florida. The H-Wharf yesterday was taking it into Florida. Now today the H-Wharf wants to keep it off the east coast. So the models are kind of all over the place on this, but everybody needs to pay very close attention from Florida all the way up through the mid-Atlantic, because this could be affecting somebody up there. But the good thing is this is going to be a slow process. The models, every model I've been looking at, it's talking about a 4-day process for all this to take place. So we're talking probably Wednesday-ish before anybody in the United States have to deal with this directly. So we have a few days to watch this, and we'll have a much better understanding of what the models are going to do, especially once this is classified as a tropical storm. Right now it's not, and the model data is not real good on unclassified systems. So once we have a tropical storm, we'll have a much better idea of what's happening here. So again, we look at that visible. It's tangling with land. Once it pulls away, we'll have a much better idea of strength for this thing and the direction that it's going to take. Now, here is the best performing intensity model on this, and it's only off by about 1 knot over 72 hours. And this is the NGXI, which is the NavGem using the GFS tracker. And this turns it into a Category 1 hurricane for South Florida. And again, I want to emphasize when I mention these things, these are what the models are projecting. These are not my opinions on this. These are what the models are showing at this time, the best performers. Always use the National Hurricane Center products to get an idea of where something is going to go. These are just my opinions based on the model data that I'm seeing coming in here as the best performers this morning on Invest 96L. And again, things can change wildly in 24 hours. But NGXI Category 1. Now the other best performer, that's one that's tied with this, is the GFTI. And the GFTI is showing a system coming into South Florida as a tropical storm around 50-mile-per-hour winds. So there, again, maybe that model is indicating that that dry air and that upper level low is going to tangle with this. There's going to be a little bit of wind shear to deal with, and this thing might not ramp up as much as if it would take a north turn. So now here is the best overall model on track overall. It's only been off by about 63 miles, and that's the GPMN model. And my pointer's all over the place here. The GPMN is the GFDL mean ensemble model. And the GFDL, again, yesterday the GFDL had it going out to sea. Today it has it tangling with Florida. But here's the track, and I think this is probably the most likely scenario, northwest Bahamas and then a turn to the northeast right off the coast of Florida and the southeast coast. The GPM model takes it and turns it on out. So we'll see if that model plays out. But there's a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of it is because of stuff such as wind shear. Now here's the 500 millibar GFS model going out 48 hours, and you can see that dip in the trough out here. And here's our potential tropical storm Cristobal down here in the central Bahamas. And here's the high pressure ridge over the eastern United States. So is it going to steer it into the coast, or is it going to get turned north with the trough? Again, the GFS indicating Florida. The Euro wants to take it out to sea. We'll see if the Euro joins this group on taking it towards the coast. Here is the wind shear analysis from the GFS model 48 hours. And again, showing some southwesterly wind shear. Again, that could be because of the upper level low just to the west of what would be Cristobal at that time. And then, of course, the trough is dipping here. So you have a little bit of increasing wind shear, which you can see on the tendency map here, 48 hours. The tendency would be for the wind shear to increase here in the central Bahamas, which is why it's probably not showing a hurricane landfall for Florida if it does take that track towards Florida. And again, here is the wind shear analysis from the University of Wisconsin showing the wind shear out of the southwest in advance of Invest 96L. But notice there's a little bit of ridging over the top of Invest 96L, which could ventilate it a little bit. We'll see if that high pressure ridge grows along with Invest 96L, and that could protect it from wind shear. So a lot of uncertainty. Everybody needs to pay very close attention. Next update will take place once this is classified as a named storm, and we'll begin to feature cities and islands in harm's way, and we'll see where this thing goes. Everybody should be prepared on the East Coast. Maybe now is a good time to go to your local Home Depot and Lowe's and stock up just in case. And if it's not this one, there could be another one coming towards you in a week or so from now. So now's the time to get into the height of the season. This is when the activity picks up. Everybody needs to be ready. That's it for now. Thank you for watching.